Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
This is breaking news from 17 News.
Good morning. Good to have you with us. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Alex Fisher, and we continue our coverage of breaking news from overnight with the police standoff in central Bakersfield now in its 12th hour.
17's Taylor Schaub is live this morning with the latest from the scene. Good morning, Taylor. What can you tell us?
Well, good morning, Maddie and Alex. That's exactly right. We're at the half-day mark right now of this scene, and I'm going to step out of the shot and give everybody a live look. It's still very, very active here. It all started around 5:15 last night when reports of an assault with a deadly weapon. BPD came to this scene, as you can tell, even a SWAT van down there, and they made contact with a man inside the building who had apparently barricaded himself inside. SWAT teams surrounded the apartment. Officers believe that the man was holding a 4-year-old boy inside. Officers said they heard an explosion in the area, but they haven't been able to confirm that it was aimed at the officers. At least one armored vehicle, as we said, was seen on scene, and it is still actually here at this moment. That's all the information that we have right now confirmed. But moments ago, I actually spoke to a woman who claims that she was a resident within the household. She told me, or she claims that it all started with a domestic violence incident. The man and the mother of the child, it was a domestic violence incident. We don't have a lot of information as of right now. We're developing more information on that. But she does tell us, and again, unconfirmed, that the child is out of the house, that he's okay right now. We are working to confirm that with BPD, and we will find out more information throughout the morning. I'm going to send it back to you guys.
All right, still a very active scene out there, so be wary if you are headed over that direction, and we're going to continue to try and learn more, and we'll pass that on to you.
All right, thanks, Taylor. All right, let's take a look at your forecast on this Monday morning. We're headed into a no work week, and boy, Kev, it's good to see you back in the Weather Center after a great 2 weeks off, right?
Yeah, 2 weeks off. I did a little move. I was healthy and strong. Don't worry about that, and glad to be back. And the weather yesterday was just beautiful. I spent a little bit of time outside. I want to show you our air quality readings right now, and they're not bad. We are in the moderate range for Bakersfield and up in the mountains. Good air quality out in Shafter and Taft. Again, we continue to track the air quality around the region. We still have the air quality alert, though, in place, and that is in place until 5 o'clock this evening. We'll see if that cancels out. Here's a look outside, looking downtown. Currently 63 degrees, a nice, comfortable morning to start. We've got a light wind out of the east-southeast at 3, and as we take a look at the temperatures, they are going to be a little bit warmer than yesterday. We'll be in the lower 70s by 11 a.m., and then right near 83 by 3. Into the mountains, 43 degrees right now. You have an east-southeast wind at 3, visibility at 6 miles. And as we take a look at the temperatures for you this afternoon, starting out in those 40s by 7 a.m., and then we'll be near 80 throughout the afternoon. I've got much more in your forecast. That's coming up in just a bit.
Kev, thanks so much. Your time now is 5:03 in your 17 Crime Watch. A man was shot several times near Shafter over the weekend. Sheriff's deputies say they were sent to the area of Poplar Avenue and Burbank Street Saturday morning after receiving reports of shots fired. When deputies arrived, they say they found a 35-year-old man who had been shot. Authorities took him to Kern Medical with non-life-threatening injuries. KCSO says the man who was shot is not cooperating and providing information to deputies about the shooting. And the man was stabbed and wounded yesterday. Deputies say they found the man near Niles Street and Shalimar Drive. KCSO says he had been stabbed multiple times. He was taken to the hospital and expected to survive. The sheriff's office said the man was stabbed on Fairfax Road but did not call for law enforcement for about 12 hours. KCSO says no suspect information is available at this time.
5:04, and now on to the latest on the pandemic in Kern County. Public health officials reported 88 new cases yesterday and 1 new death. The total number of people who have lost their lives to the pandemic in Kern County now stands at 395. There are currently more than 10,000 people recovering from the virus at home, while 37 are being treated in local hospitals. Our hospitalizations have not been this low since May. Well, we are hosting another free COVID-19 test site tomorrow right outside of our studios here in downtown Bakersfield. We have been teaming up with Public Health and the Latino COVID-19 Task Force with help from the Kern Community College District so that people can get tested. You can come by tomorrow anytime from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Go to kget.com to schedule an appointment. So far, more than 1,200 people have been tested outside of our studios.
We continue to cover pedestrian safety here in Kern County with a person hit and killed along Highway 58. CHP says the man was hit around 8 o'clock last night on eastbound Highway 58 near South Mount Vernon Avenue. When first responders arrived, they say they found the person was hit by a semi-truck. And another person was killed in a hit and run in East Bakersfield early yesterday morning. CHP says around 4 a.m., the person was hit and killed by a car in the area of Mount Vernon Avenue and Niles Street. The driver of the car did not stop and drove off. And another person was hit and killed on Interstate 5 Saturday night. It happened just north of Sabadon Street, forcing a closure of southbound lanes for several hours. According to CHP, the crash was reported just before 7 p.m. Officials have not said what led up to the crash or what caused it.
From our 17 follow-up file, a mural honoring a slain local teenager will be unveiled today in downtown Bakersfield. The group The Next Steps commissioned the mural in memory of 13-year-old Patricia Alatorre. An Inglewood man's accused of kidnapping and killing the teen in July. The mural will be unveiled tonight at 19th and L Streets. The dedication ceremony is set from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Those who attend are urged to practice social distancing and wear a mask.
In education news this morning, Bakersfield College is inviting students to attend financial aid workshops online. The online webinars are meant to help students fill out their 2021-2022 FAFSA applications. BC also announced the Kern Community College District scholarship application is now open. The scholarship offers nearly 300 unique opportunities for students here in Kern Community Colleges. For more information on the FAFSA workshops and scholarships, just visit our website, kget.com. Starting today, the Kern County Library will offer indoor express appointments and expanded curbside services at 12 of its branches. Express services will allow customers to visit for a 30-minute appointment that can include browsing, using public computers, faxing, printing, and using copy machines. To make an appointment, you can call 868-0701 or go to the library's website. Indoor express and curbside services will be offered noon to 6 p.m. at Beale Memorial Library in Bakersfield and at the branches in Arvin, Delano, Fraser Park, Kern River Valley, Oildale, Ridgecrest, Rosamond, Southwest Taft, Tehachapi, and Wasco.
Welcome back here at 510. Louisiana residents are picking up the pieces after Hurricane Delta hit the region over the weekend. Flooding became a problem as parts of the city's roads became impassable.
My girlfriend and I were in the house. We started picking all the furniture up, putting it on chairs, putting it on soup cans, anything we could find to get it up off the floor to save what we could.
Houses are barely standing after going through a second hurricane within 6 weeks. Some homeowners are fed up.
Beautiful home in Toledo, and I think it's time I move. I'm done with hurricanes.
Welcome back. A protest over the death of a man shot by a Kern County Sheriff's deputy boiled over into a standoff.
We're just looking for justice. That's all we want. We want the Kern County Sheriff Department to be held accountable for their actions so that another unarmed African American, Latino, or anyone of color, any of their family members should have to go through this again.
Demonstrators gathered Saturday in front of the sheriff's office to protest the shooting of 39-year-old Michael Lewis. The protest started out peaceful with family members of the victim in the crowd. Video from social media shows the demonstration taking a turn toward aggression around 1 p.m. We don't know who started the fights. There are no reports of any arrests or injuries at this time.
Things are starting to cool down, but there is still enough heat to keep the buzz going for mosquitoes infesting Kern County. 17's Moses Small spoke to an expert to see how you can fight back against the biting.
They're just terrorizing everybody.
Kern County residents are swatting away a wave of mosquitoes that never seems to end. Experts say they may live closer than you think.
Some of the areas that people don't think about are inside their home. You can have a cup with just a little bit of water in it, or you can have, a water bottle. One that a lot of people will not think about, and that is the toilet brush.
Two types of mosquitoes are infesting Kern County right now. The Aedes aegypti is known for being a local nuisance, buzzing into Kern County over the past couple of years. But another type, which lays up to 150 eggs at a time, can carry diseases like Zika and the West Nile virus.
The new Asian tiger mosquito has just been absolutely horrendous this year, and they're quick and they're fast and they're hard to see.
They fly low to the ground and aim for humans' ankles to avoid getting caught, striking at any time of day and biting multiple times in one sitting. And the infestation is only getting worse.
For an egg to hatch, basically they need only about a teaspoon of water. They'll lay the eggs and they'll become an adult in 5 to 7 days. Once that moisture goes away, the amazing part is those eggs can stay dormant for up to 5 years.
Pest control experts say you can take steps to stop them once and for all.
So be vigilant about how much water is going to be around your house and where it can be trapped. And then if you're finding those, making sure you're cleaning them and scrubbing them and getting all the eggs that may be available.
GET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
Welcome back to your 17 Business Watch. If you're experiencing an acute case of the Mondays this morning, you're not alone. Research shows many are feeling more drained and anxious about work this year. More than 1/3 of workers surveyed said they are more burned out on the job today compared to a year ago. That's according to a new study released by staffing firm Robert Half. Of those respondents, 30% pointed to having a fuller plate at work as the top reason for rising levels of fatigue. Another 45% of professionals noted they are as burned out now as they were 12 months ago. Only 21% reported a drop in burnout. According to Expedia, more Americans reached their tripping point less than 30 days into coronavirus lockdowns. The tripping point is defined as the intense need for a break from the routine. It's the moment when day-to-day responsibilities become too much. 80% said they've reached their tripping point. The biggest need was to get out of the house and find a change of scenery. Behind that was a need for some alone time and wanting to see friends or family in another location. The sweetest night of the year is almost here, which means children will be seeking out their favorite treats in a neighborhood near you. But all candy is not equal, according to experts. Dan Shinneman explains.
Halloween is definitely about the treats, a day where kids of all ages are focused on binging spooktacular amounts of sugar. No surprise that there are favorites among the haul.
We know that chocolate is more popular than your traditional candy. Chocolate tends to give consumers a permissible indulgence.
Reese's Peanut Butter Cups top the list year after year, followed up by classic chocolate bars, M&Ms, and gummies. Research shows consumers prefer smooth and creamy textures.
They're avoiding sticky and chalky textures, as an example.
And the controversial candy corn remains a crowd favorite.
We know that some people like to start with the larger yellow end. Some people like that smaller white end, but most Americans just go for it and eat the full piece at once.
There are other factors that play a role in what is handed out on Halloween.
And affordability is a key driver,
as well as personal preference.
Consumers, when purchasing Halloween products, they mainly purchase it for themselves.
80% of Americans say that they cannot imagine Halloween without chocolate and candy.
Carly Schildhouse from the National Confectioners Association says sales of all candy are up since March.
We're seeing that people are turning to chocolate and candy for that little moment of enjoyment in an otherwise pretty crazy time.
Chocolate and candy, providing some normalcy in a not-so-normal time. Dan Shenneman, NBC News.
Your time now is 5:32, and 17 News is your local election headquarters. A Supreme Court showdown in Washington this morning with the confirmation hearing for Judge Amy Coney Barrett set for 6 a.m. Tracy Potts has more on who's there in person and who's joining remotely.
Alex, good morning. We got to look at the opening statement, the written statement that Judge Amy Coney Barrett is expected to deliver in just a few hours now. She talks about her family, her background, her views of the law. She does not talk about her religious views or some of the hot-button issues that she is sure to be asked about today.
Thank you very much, Ms.
In her opening statement, Judge Amy Coney Barrett says a judge must apply the law as it is written, not as the judge wishes it were, even if that means they don't like the results. Lawmakers plan to question her on the Affordable Care Act. The Supreme Court hears that case 1 week after the election.
She is being sent on assignment to the Supreme Court by President Trump, and we know what that assignment is. Eliminate the Affordable Care Act
Democrats are asking the Justice Department for what's missing from her application, a 2006 letter opposing women's reproductive rights.
A vote for Judge Barrett is very simple. It's a vote to take health care away from 20 million Americans. It's a vote to strip protections.
Judge Barrett is expected to attend in person. At least 4 lawmakers will appear virtually. One tested positive. Others, including Vice Presidential nominee Kamala Harris, are concerned about the lack of precautions.
We've managed to have hearings for months in a way that has been safe and has protected everyone's safety. The delay tactics of the Democrats aren't going to work.
President Trump is back on the campaign trail today with a rally in Florida declaring himself COVID-free.
Yes, and not only that, it seems like I'm immune.
The president has been cleared by his doctor, who did not say if the president tested negative for the virus. So it looks like the president's back to a full campaign schedule this week, with the rally in Florida today and events in Pennsylvania tomorrow and Iowa on Wednesday. I'm Tracy Potts, 17 News.
And that hearing is set to begin in about 30 minutes. We'll carry the proceedings live on our KGET Facebook page as well as our website, kget.com. And you can also watch the NBC News special report right after 17 News at sunrise. And on the topic of this historic election season, you can visit our new webpage dedicated to voting by mail. Our team compiled a series of investigative reports on everything you need to know about this process. Just head to our website, kget.com, and click on the Vote by Mail button.
Political differences led to more than just heated words in Northwest Bakersfield over the weekend as President Trump's supporters clashed with progressive activists. 17's Perla Shaheen caught up with some of the people involved in the scuffle.
It's the corner where two sides of the political spectrum meet. It's one of the only places that you can find conservatives and liberals trying to maintain a civil discussion. But it doesn't always remain civil.
For almost 3 weeks, Trump supporters and progressive activists have come to this corner of Rosedale Highway and Coffee Road. They come to sell merchandise, but their interactions often escalate to more than that.
Actually, like my first week doing this, I've been maced. I've been hit in the back of my head with the flagpole. My friend has been hit in the back of her head with the flagpole. I've had my address posted.
This time, things got more heated than usual. It started when one Trump supporter walked her dog past the table where progressive activists were sitting. The two sides involved disagree on what happened after this.
She was allowing her dog to sniff all of our stuff. It kept going towards our table, so my friend tried to move the dog a little bit out of the way. Another supporter came out, started yelling that we had shoved her dog.
Well, I know exactly what started it. The guy from BLM kicked a service dog, and everything was fine. Everybody was just kind of talking back and forth until he kicked the dog. Once he kicked the dog, that's when things got heated, and that's when the fight started.
And then that's when that man came over the caution tape, and he tried to fight him. He tried to hit my friend. The girls tried to stand in front of him.
They all can agree on what happens next. The Trump supporter throws his hand at the other man's head. When he misses, he tries to get closer and then throws 2 punches at his face. He then flipped the progressive activist's table. The people at this corner every day say there's little conflict amongst themselves.
The people next to us who are selling the merch have been peaceful. We offer each other waters and we are on good terms. It's the people that come and buy the merch. It's the Trump supporters that buy the merch that have been antagonizing us and giving us problems.
I just wish that we could come together as a community, both sides, and actually start working towards trying to fix us instead of at war with each other.
The man in the video throwing punches got in his car and drove away before police arrived.
If you know anything about this man, call Bakersfield Police at 327-7111. Perla Shaheen, 17 News.
One person was arrested and 16 were cited in a street racing enforcement operation over the weekend. The Bakersfield Police Department said the operation was held between 9:30 p.m. on Saturday and 2 a.m. Sunday, with officers making 20 traffic stops. Those stops resulted in 16 citations and 9 cars that were impounded due to reckless driving, as well as 1 DUI arrest. The department said 2 citations were also given out for cars found parked in a handicap parking space without a placard.
5:38 your time now. A reminder this Columbus Day. The post offices are closed in observance of the holiday. U.S. Postal Service offices are closed today and will not deliver to residents or businesses, with the exception of priority mail express orders, which are delivered all year round. Normal delivery and collection schedules resume tomorrow. Though you can't go into a post office for stamps, USPS says most grocery, pharmacy, and convenience stores offer them for sale if you need some.
We're now back with sports, or perhaps more accurately, the lack of them. With schools abruptly shutting down last spring, most student athletes figured they would be back on the field in just a matter of weeks. But 7 months turbulent later, the gates remain closed. 17's Taylor Schaub spoke with parents, coaches, and administrators about the current state of high school sports.
It was a moment 7 months in the making. Students from high schools across the Golden Empire gathering in front of Kern High School District to fight for the right to play ball.
We don't have the choice to decide for our children what we believe is correct.
Heather Manning is a mother of 4. She says it's imperative that students get back on their respective fields and courts.
You are taking away options and of their future.
The demonstration came on the heels of the first positive news for youth sports since the spring. The district board approving limited conditioning drills for fall sports starting October 26th.
It means cohorting in groups of 16. So you could have one coach and 15 kids, and they can't cross, they can't intermingle.
A small step that sent large shockwaves to students across Kern County.
I get calls from parents all the time about their kids just being in a funk, and being depressed. Not wanting to do things that they normally do because they've lost that thing that gets them up every morning.
So where do we go from here? What's the next step towards normalcy? Stan Green says our best bet revolves around advancing in the state's tier system.
It is imperative that we get there because what happens in red is you can go away from the cohort model to a social distancing model.
Baby steps, as Perucci puts it, but make no mistake. Getting back between those white lines will give plenty of students hope in what has otherwise felt like a rudderless ship sailing through a sea of Zoom meetings.
To have a light at the end of the tunnel that we are working towards so the light can get bigger, I think is just a huge, huge thing for our kids in their life.
This is breaking news from 17 News.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.